Hello and welcome to Popcorn and Beers, where some use tomatoes and others use thumbs. We use the stuff that gets you drunk.
Yeah.
Oh, Yingling! I love a good Yingling.
Yingling Asbesta.
That was the remix intro, I guess. I've got a Brewdog Hazy Jane over here.
Ooh.
Right? So a little British brewery going on. It's a New England IPA.
Oh, New England IPA, I see.
We had to slam some shows this week, gentlemen, to get the butter on top knocked out. Were we able to accomplish everything?
About 80%.
80%?
But I've seen enough.
I'm at the...
I have seen enough.
Yeah.
You, sir, have seen enough. All right. I want to say go on. Go on. And you said you're the same, Jordan.
I'm at the finale. I'm on the last episode. Okay. I've watched the animated series twice, so it's pretty on par, but I'll save it.
I'll save it. All right, Josh. So now we know not to spoil anything for you. Where are you at and how are you feeling?
First of all, I'm okay. Most of the time, I'm okay with spoilers. Some spoilers you really should leave alone. But stuff like, how does it end? That doesn't ever bother me. Just tell me. I don't care. I'm going to see it or I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to see the rest of Avatar, dude. Like, it's really good. It's really good. And if I do see it, I won't be mad. But
it was really good. I'm not watching the end, but it was really good.
It was good. So here's what we got here. We got Shyamalama Ding Dong tried to make a movie, and he got most of the costumes right. Didn't have a story, didn't have acting, didn't have dialogue. He just had costumes. A little bit of this, but there's some complaints there, too. The action scenes weren't what they were supposed to be. This show, in spite of Shyamalama Ding Dong, has the good costumes, the great setting, pretty dang good CG, wonderful fight choreography, and storytelling in the fight choreography. Why am I doing that?
You were making Ergo.
Pretty true to what I know of the show. I've seen some of it. The story's good. Everything seems to line up okay. Acting was children's show level acting, which is okay because whatever, it's a children's show. The dialogues were pretty much what you would expect from a kid's show. But I'm not mad at that. It's not for me right now. That's all. But it is cool.
Who are you mad at?
I only watch Turner Classic Movies nowadays. But who am I mad at?
My question at all.
What'd you say?
Yeah, that is what I said. It's just funny because I was like, I got a question. Who are you mad at? Yeah, I only watch Turner Classic Movies.
Oh, I thought you said, where are you at? If that's not for me, where am I at? I'm old is what I was trying to say. Who am I mad at? Nobody in particular. I mean, all the characters were cartoon characters. It's cool. You know, Popcorn and one.
Poppy won?
Nah.
All right. Well, I will go, and then we'll get to the expert, Jordan, because Jordan really slammed that animated series 19 million times, it sounds like. So for me, like, I'm not a big anime person, and I'm slowly trying to, like, dip my toe in some of these waters with some of the newer stuff. Josh, if you could explain it in as unpretentious a way as possible, that you always tell me, well, it's the new style of anime, more of a English or Americanized style of anime, like Invincible is, or the show I just recently watched that I'll review later, Skull Island. What do you mean by that? Like, explain it to the layman, because I honestly don't know.
Well, anime is strictly from Japan. That's what anime is, technically. So everything else, like Avatar, is Nickelodeon made it in America with probably Japanese animators in part. Thundercats, the same way. It looks like an anime because it's copying the style of Japanese anime, but it's an American studio producing it. So it might have a higher budget. It might have less attention to certain details. It's in the culture of the American copying the East. but it's different when, you know, it's like what Denzel says, you know what it is to have a hot comb on your head and Sunday morning for church. You know, that's how I sound when I'm doing Denzel. But it's cultural. So there's a cultural difference in anime and American style anime, much like what I'm going to say about Scott Pilgrim, the show coming up.
So what's the difference in the actual animation, though, I suppose is my question. Like, is there an actual difference in the artwork or in the way they move?
It's very subtle, but usually you could tell.
Yeah, stylistically, like things like hair, outfits, like they're just, it's just very, it's pretty toned down to just look more American, like not just so, you know, out there.
Okay, so we'll get into that a little bit more, I think, when I start reviewing Skull Island. But for me, this is just like, now it's copy and paste from Netflix. Like, they must have an AI writing this stuff, because it reminded me insanely of One Punch Man. I was like, okay, so they just basically took exactly what they did in the live action One Punch Man and did it in this one, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
They made a live action One Punch Man. That's interesting.
We reviewed it on here. Well, myself and Jordan did. So
what?
I don't really watch.
You're talking about One Piece.
Oh, whatever. Who cares?
Totally different. Yeah. Anyway,
you're right. No, they are fully different. So I'll wear the jackass hat today because I don't know anime. But yeah, One Piece, One Punch, whatever. Anyway, it's copy and paste. It was like the same thing, the same style of acting, the same jokes. It's just a different story with all the same stuff. Same kids. Like, it was just the same with a different story. And I gave it a pop 1. I will say this: that poor man on the Earth, like, land or the Earth continent, and his cabbages. I felt so bad for him. He lost his cabbages like 7 times. Also, we don't know that man's struggle. How many times did he have to go back and forth to fill up that cabbage cart? He's got to be running low on cabbage at the farm, right? Because that happened like 4 times in a day. It was interesting. I think that episode was probably my favorite because he ran into his old friend. And I can't, Boomy. That was the kid's name, right? Boomy. And that was interesting because it would be like, dang, what do you do if, like, you're 100 years old and you look down at this kid that you were growing up with and he's still a kid? Like, that'd be mind blowing. It would totally blow your mind.
Yep.
With that mixed with a lot of other aspects of that episode was very enjoyable. Now, I would love to see that Assassin's Guild come back that was in it in season 2. Obviously, there's going to be a season 2. They left a cliffhanger just like One Piece did. Full transparency. I almost called it One Punch again. But they definitely left the cliffhanger there. I will say that final episode is so action-packed, and it's exactly the same as the M. Night Shyamalan as far as the storyline's concerned. Just more action. More and more action. It was really good. I thought that the way that they did the different worlds was cool. I'm going to give them credit for that. The animation was really cool as far as the CG was concerned. But outside of that, like, you got to give me something, guys. Give me something to chew on. Give me something new. Give me something interesting. Yeah, I plowed through it, but it wasn't made for me. I get that. But anyone that watches both One Piece and this will see exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to give it a pop 1. Jordan?
All right. Well, you're comparing it to the One Piece show. It's kind of exactly what we were talking about with Josh. Like, you can tell the difference between, because One Piece is an actual anime as compared to Avatar. And you can see the way just certain things didn't adapt to live action with One Piece. It kind of came off just a little too like, what? Like, hard for you to buy in, a little too out there. Some of the outfits, some of the characters is just like, what? Like, you got a clown man pirate, you know, it's just certain things.
Yeah.
This is far more like easily
clown man guy.
Yeah. It was too much. But anyways, yeah, so the animated series, I watched that twice. And it's one of my favorite animated series. It's one of the few animated series that spans like many seasons. I think it's like 4 or 5 seasons that I've watched all the way through. Yeah.
I think so. It was like 4 seasons.
4 seasons, yeah.
But then they had 4 or 5. The spinoff that's like canon, right?
Yes, I haven't watched that yet though, but
it's really good.
What is it? Legend of Korra.
All right. I know that the Nickelodeon, in conjunction with some studio, just announced that they're gonna do a movie that follows the 3 of them, the trio, into like their 20s and 30s.
Mm.
Oh, cool. That'll probably be. That's cool. Right on.
Yeah. But so the Shyamalan version, he basically removed all the heart really from the story and just kind of blazed through some elements that really make you care about the characters was a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
He I don't know if he like anticipated a sequel or not, so he just stopped at like a random place kind of in the story to where you're the whole time you're just like, why is this significant? Why does this really matter throughout the whole thing? Because it's a big world that they build you into in the beginning of the movie, and then that just the way he ended it there was like, huh? And he also, the problem is this is very culturally tinged. Like each tribe kind of represents a culture of different people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, and he just kind of made it kind of ambiguous, like making the fire people all one race and this people be, you know, I don't know. He didn't, The show, the cartoon one, the voice acting is phenomenal. Oh, sorry, Shyamalan, I give a popcorn. Obviously, I could barely give it that. Horrible movie. The show, the voice acting is phenomenal. It drags and wanders a little bit, maybe just a little bit too long, a little too much filler. The dialogue, the character arcs, and the dynamics between them are fantastic. Because sometimes you hate the villains, sometimes you hate the heroes, and sometimes you love the villains. And it's just got that fantastic opening sequence that, in the beginning there were 4 nations, and they kind of go through that in the live action. It's just a great opening that you never want to skip. Like you always sit there, it's so intense. Popcorn and 3 for the animated series. Now, I don't like that they changed the opening sequence of this, the live action one, but they only allude to the original one as the old woman from the water tribe is telling the story. I didn't like that. And that's the thing with this show. And this is why it's stuck so heavily to the source material, is because the fans are so diehard and they didn't want to make a mistake like Shyamalan, that like people would like the smallest things and people would just eviscerate this. Be like, no, it's like trying to adapt like Star Wars. Like people are so sensitive about, honestly, like they're real diehard fans of this show.
Yeah.
So, this was a tall task for them.
Jar Jar Binks isn't real.
I hate the new thing in shows where if something, it's like a dark scene, why does it have to be so dark that you can't see anything what's happening?
I'm so over it in movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
It does not have to be pitch black. I want to actually see the actors. Stop.
Something has changed, dude. The same goes for sound.
Yeah.
So you have like they want to show the blackest black in digital, right? That's important, but contrast is a real thing. And then like the same goes for sound engineers. Like they make things way too loud, and then the talking is way too quiet, talky.
Yep.
And it's just people like the people who used to know what they're doing retire, that everyone else is around now. I don't know.
Yeah, Anna gets mad at me because of what you just said, Josh. Because she'll think I have something turned way up, but I don't. It's just like I'm trying to hear the talking, and then the music will play, and it'll blast. I'm like, why is it like this? Like I don't.
Yeah, it makes like subtitles are necessary now mostly, and I hate that because I don't want to read subtitles. It distracts me.
I love subtitles.
Yeah, you're generous.
I watch football with subtitles.
That's okay. We're gonna leave that alone. This is
anyways.
Man real quick.
The bending effects are awesome. I didn't find the creatures, and some of them looked okay. Some of them really did not. And in the foregrounds, it very much looked like they're on a stage, like a green screen stage. In some parts, I was like, The action is great, like you said, well choreographed and all that. And honestly, like it's so close to the cartoon. Like even the fighting sequences, it's almost frame for frame exactly the same. It's a little spastic and flailing to me. Like the camera, it's a little jerky, moving too fast, trying to capture too much. The casting choices were as close as they could possibly be for just about every character. I didn't care for the guy who played Zuko. He had too much of.
Hey, it's me, Tommy Zuko.
No, Zuko is the bad guy, the Fire Nation kid.
Oh, the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And he just had too much of a nice guy face, but I'm not going to spoil anything. He has an arc, whatever. And you could also see the small on Aang's head, the little arrow thing. You could see like a small lip of it, like when his forehead wrinkled. You could see like it's not a tattoo on his head; it's literally like a sticker or something on his head.
Shout
it looks
out to
silly.
Fireboy's sister, though. She was a badass.
Oh yeah. She's a psychopath. She's a psychopath. So I can't wait to see more. We're really gonna love Toph. She's a great character. She probably comes in the next season.
Which one is Toph?
The Earthbender, the blind girl.
Oh, never saw. Was she in there? Was she? I don't recall.
No. She comes in the next season when he goes to the Earthbender kingdom, starts learning earthbending.
Okay, they allude to that as next season. At the end of this episode. I know you're catching up to me.
Learn stone welding, like with the Gorons in Zelda.
Okay.
Oh, and another thing I have to mention that's just everyone's talking about online is how terrifying they made Ko. I mean, Ko is scary in the series, but like a live action version, the faceless centipede monster in the cave.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh my god, that thing was terrifying. Like this was a kid show, kind of slightly older kid show, but like a young kid trying to watch this now, that's nightmares right there.
It was a spirit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, yeah. So let's go on to our drunk classic because I think that since this is an 8-hour show, we could talk about this for a long time and really dissect it. But that's not what we're here to do. We're here to review it overall, high level view. Okay. So if you were into the original show, you got Jordan's review. If you're just coming in, you got my review. If you're somewhere in between, you got Josh's review to go on. I think overall, if you haven't watched any of the Netflix live action anime conversions, you might like it, to be honest. You might go with Jordan's view.
Yeah.
All right. So, 21 was our drunk classic.
21, winner, chicken dinner.
It explained a lot with my first trip with my family to Vegas. It was my first time ever actually doing something that involved like drinking with Jordan and gambling. And he really hovered around those 21, those blackjack tables, pardon me. So, Jordan, did this have something to do with that?
Yeah, man, I can't keep the count is the problem. I'm not a, sullen MIT loner grad, so I don't got the skills like our main character in the movie. He just goes from a nobody guy that just gets kind of haphazardly falls into this scheming professor who has this team of kids who go to Vegas and
played
they
by
make
total dirtbag.
Yes, who is what's his name again? Kevin Spacey, yeah. Who plays, he plays himself. He plays himself in real life, yeah. The movie has a couple of antagonists. You also have Lawrence Fishburne, who plays the the pit boss guy in Vegas, who is onto their shenanigans. The chemistry between the kids, the group of not kids, they're adults, but the group of college kids that are going to Vegas and doing this is not good. I also didn't realize that the friend from Disturbia, the Asian kid, is the same as the friend from Disturbia.
7 degrees, baby.
That was not done on purpose. I was like, hey, look, it's that guy again. Yeah.
I forgot Josh Gad was in this movie. Is that
bad?
Dude.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Nora, milady.
Josh Gad is... Yeah, right? Olaf is in this movie. Poor Josh Gad.
Yeah. So like this was one of 3 movies that I used to have on my little iPod video shuffle thing. I had this movie, I had the South Park movie, and I had Disturbia. So guess what might be a drunk classic in the near future? No, I don't know.
There we go.
Yeah. I like this movie. I didn't realize. I just really got fascinated by this whole thing when I saw it because I heard of counting cards, but I didn't know like that this was an actual. You know what I mean? Like how it worked. Like I didn't have the slightest concept, and this kind of really breaks it down for you. It's still very hard to understand, but entertaining movie. Cool, arc through the whole thing. I give this a popcorn, and I'm gonna give it a popcorn and 1.
Popcorn and one. I will say this: Kevin Spacey's a dirtbag.
Yeah.
Jim Sturgis has become that actor that you just know whenever you see his face. He plays our main character Ben. Kate Bosworth, I now put in the same category as the Shailene Woodleys of the world.
There's a lot of Shailene Woodley.
Yeah, like Shailene Woodley, Dakota Johnson, Kate Bosworth, Maggie Gyllenhaal, like great actresses, but I don't get the leading lady fascination with them. Like it's different to me, and it's I grew up on like Michelle Pfeiffer, Nicole Kidman, and those were my leading, Halle Berry as my leading ladies, and now I've got Shailene Woodley and Dakota Johnson and Kate Bosworth, and I have to adapt. Just like Timothée Chalamet is going to be a Batman someday, and I've got to accept that. Like,
I'm getting old. Timothée Chalamet with 150 pounds of muscle.
I'm Batman. This is Batman. This is my voice.
I absolutely can't.
Chalamet is Batman, dude.
Not only did I play Wonka, now I come out of the dark. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I've got to accept this. Yeah, right? Like, built this cave. It's going to be weird for me. But that's something I have to accept. Like, and I will eventually. Like, all my action stars are 50 or older. You know what I'm saying? With this movie, though, let's go back to 21. I watched this when I was in the Air Force. And I remember thinking, all right, that's an interesting movie. Pretty cool. I'd love to make hundreds of thousands of dollars because I'm good at math. And outside of that, I remember not being super interested in it. And I remember why. Because it's not a particularly good movie. It's a story that's told via cinema, is how I would classify it. It's got Kevin Spacey in it, who I probably thought acted his tail off before I realized he was a terrible person. Because if I'm being honest, he's probably the best actor in the movie. I hate saying that. Like, I want to shoot myself in the tongue.
Well, you can't
watching
deny he's a good actor. Like, he's pretending to be a good guy in real life.
Oh, I hate it. He's got chops. But outside of him, I mean, it's just like, spend more time on the game. I don't care about this kid. Like, I didn't care. I did not care. They didn't spend enough time on what he was doing. And then they tried to bring it all back to his story of what he was doing it all for at the very end. And it's like, oh, yeah, so all this happened. I don't have any of the money anymore, but I got a story. Like, is that good enough for you? Yeah. What is it? Does that pop off the page? Like, also, winner, winner, chicken dinner as the tagline of the whole movie. Like, gosh.
So, and like, overall, for real, honestly, if like in the end you find out this whole thing was his paper, right? So that's how you start your paper? Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
It's an attention grabber.
Yeah, good luck at MIT with that.
So I'm going to give it a popcorn. But it could have been a popcorn and one, maybe better when I was younger. I get it. Like, I totally get the appeal, if I'm being quite honest. But as I've gotten older, like, my taste, my palate is a little different. And I got to say, like, it was interesting. It was intriguing. But it was definitely, like, I would call it like a straight to DVD.
Yeah. Straight to DVD, bro. That's how I see it. That's how I saw it. DVD at the BX. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there was a time in my life when internet wasn't around in the way that you would experience it now. And for entertainment, I would just walk to the basically Kmart. No, wait, Target, right? And see what their DVDs have to offer. But we called it the BX.
Every Tuesday.
I will buy a couple DVDs, and that's what I'm watching this week. And this was one of those. At the time, though, I think I was 23-ish. I thought it was cool. It was hip, Kevin Spacey does Kevin Spacey. This is the sexy young team, and we do something cool, but then we get in too deep. So that is a trope thing that I thought, maybe I'll look that up. Maybe it's actually called something. So I typed in, sexy young team gets in too deep.
Uh-oh.
So let's move on.
History.
Yeah, that was you gotta clear that. What it did remind me of a bunch of different movies, like The Craft, which we've talked about here. Not Yet, but Wanted, same thing. Even had the same last line, basically, which is, what the F did you do lately? I just saved the world. Does that pop off the page for you? Also reminded me of Flatliners. It's, hey, we're the sexy team. We have a specific set of skills, and we're going to buck the system, right? And then, it goes wrong, but
Blackjack Avengers.
Yeah, Blackjack Avengers. Everyone's like just it's a party movie. Like you want to feel cool. I think it was around the same period as that, where they would rob celebrities' houses. The documentary.
The Bling Ring.
The Bling Ring.
I
the
reviewed
movie that was
Bling
made.
Ring.
Yeah. Around that same time period. Also around like Alpha Dog. Remember Alpha Dog? Like it's a very
gosh, Justin Timberlake, right? That was just
Justin T.
I do remember Alpha Dog.
Yeah, that's a good movie. But it's the same time period where like MGMT is big and it's all just party beach, and having it. And then we had it all, and then we got some more, right, dude? And
yeah.
But it's fun in that way.
Caught us.
Yeah, but then we double crossed the double cross, and then in the end, it all worked out pretty cool. That's fun.
Slow motion high five and freeze frame.
So yeah, it's fun. It's nice that it all works out in the end. It's just a pretty classic formula that's been used before, but it's based on a true story. They just added some dramatic elements, like Kevin Spacey's character entirely. Yeah, I give it a popcorn.
All right, a popcorn. Is it a hard popcorn or a soft popcorn?
No, it's the one where you have a little popcorn on a Sunday morning. You know what I mean?
Sunday morning popcorn. All right, let's go on to what we were watching this week. Let's start with you, Jordan, because I think you just have a show to review, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct. I got to watch the Vince Staples show on Netflix.
Oh.
And if you don't know, Vince Staples is mostly known for rapping. He's also on the show Abbott Elementary, I believe, which I have never seen that show. I heard great things. Maybe one day I'll get to that. But the Vince Staples show. Yeah.
Okay.
The Vince Staples show, I thought it was going to be like a sketch comedy show at first. Kind of that's what it makes it seem like, because there's a lot of randomness going on in the trailer of this. And all the advertisements for it. But it's actually, it's a long format sketch comedy show. So I'm wasn't completely off there, because it doesn't follow like a linear story. It's like these random sitcom-y kind of things that he experiences, that he dramatizes. The first episode is funny enough to kind of bring you in. You're still trying to figure out like, wait, what the hell is this? What am I watching? The second episode is brilliant, and it doesn't let up from there for the rest of, I think it's only 5 or 6 episodes, which sucks. It was way too short. But he kind of acknowledged like, hey, look, I'm trying to get a multi-season deal here. I'm trying to leave you guys wanting more, which he definitely did. His comedic timing is excellent in everything, but his regular line delivery, like just dialogue, is kind of hit or miss. He's kind of plays it a little too nonchalant at times. Like it just doesn't come off real. And there's also just some real inside jokes to get, like kind of inside the culture, inside of rap and things like that. So if you're not really up on your kind of hip hop culture-y kind of stuff, you might miss a few lines that are very like the punchline. You might not get that.
Worried about it, dog. Josh will be there to correct me.
Yeah.
No,
we were both going with the same joke at the exact same time.
You got some horror, you got comedy, you got action, you got family, all of that stuff in these short episodes. Also the season is short, but the episodes are pretty short as well. So this is a very quick watch through. There's just one action sequence I don't like, where it's him having a shootout with someone, and she's shooting into a car with a child, which, it's like, is it the parents' fault that is doing this? It's just not a good look. Yeah, I don't think it's a good look at all. I didn't really like that. But popcorn and 2 on this show. Because it was so short. It was so short.
Pop and 2. All right, so Josh, you had a lot for us. Yeah. So why don't you give us your first?
I'm going to give you 2 because one of them's real quick and it wasn't on the list. I dipped my toe into Jennifer Lopez, This Is Me Now.
On Amazon?
On Amazon. Let's just all do a hard pass. I watched about 15 minutes of it. It's only an hour long. It's at a really high budget, a lot of green screen choreography. It's she's promoting an album. That's pretty cool in that. I always applaud that when an artist wants to do something cool like that. Mm-hmm. But it's like diet Mary J. Blige, and Mary J. Blige is kind of like old school. It's not really my thing. It's not for me. Okay, maybe you love it. Maybe you love Jennifer Lopez. Popcorn. But here's one that did work. Same vibe. Intergalactic by Kid Cudi. It's a Scott Muscudi production. It's an Emmy nom for something. It's an animated feature to promote his album. It came out the same time as his album, I think last year or something, called Intergalactic. One word. And basically a song from the album plays, about 20 minutes goes by. Song from the album, about 20 minutes goes by. And the songs are played in like during a montage scene. So there's a bunch of little montages. It's like a giant music video for a whole album. And it pulls that off. Anyway, it's animated in a style of very similar to the Spider-Man Across the Universe type of stuff, or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kind of stuff. So it's mixed media, but a lot of just high animation, really vivid. But they pull it off. So even though it might be kind of a copy, it's still pretty dang good. And the music's pretty dang good. If you like Kid Cudi, it's real vibey. It's all vibe, Travis Scott type of stuff. I like the show. It was not the heaviest plot, really easy peasy, ends in a happy ending. It's a slight love story, mostly just chill. It's a very chill show. So it's something you could put on, not worry about the dialogue if you don't want to, but it's honest enough to be okay. Good animation, great visuals. Get high and watch it. Popcorn and one.
Pop and one. So for me, I had a palate cleanser after 21. I watched a good card movie. Molly's Game. I watched Molly's Game. Have you guys seen Molly's Game yet?
No, I didn't hear good things about it though. That's why I didn't watch it.
I should have saved it for a drunk classic. Yeah, Molly's Game is fantastic in my opinion, and though you have Michael Cera playing Tobey Maguire, and they don't ever refer to it, right? And even in the book, he's referred to as Player X. You don't know who Michael Cera is?
Yes, I know who both of them there, but why is he playing Tobey Maguire?
So, because in the book, the woman that wrote this book, right, she refers to him as Player X, but through context clues, they really figure out like, oh, this is Tobey Maguire, right? And like the audience figured it out, almost like Don't Bleep with Cats. You remember that documentary, how they find the killer? So it's almost the same thing. The audience of the book figured out, oh, that's Tobey Maguire. And that's how everybody found out that like Tobey Maguire is a terrible person, right? And he has a quote in it that's, I don't play poker to win. I play it to destroy lives, or something to that extent. I didn't write down the quote in my review.
Tobey Maguire's a terrible person?
Yeah, like legit, like an awful human. That's why he didn't get work in Hollywood. Yeah, that's why he didn't get work in Hollywood for a very long time, right? We kept getting poor man's Tobey Maguire with Elijah Wood. Just kidding. Calm down, everyone. It was Giovanni Ribisi. All right, so with Jessica Chastain, she blows this role out of the park, and you can totally see why she gets the Oscar nod for it. She crushes the role. Like her ability to draw passion for something, and it's very similar to 21, where she comes up and she learns how to be like a pit boss. Not like a security guard, but like run the game master. And she runs it out of different hotel rooms around the city, and it's high roller games. And she knows all the high rollers by name. And you learn phrases like you're on tilt. And just like in 21, how you're learning different phrases when it comes to blackjack, it's the same with this movie, just explained better. And it's narrated by Jessica Chastain as the main character, who is being pursued by the FBI, by the CIA, played by Idris Elba. And it's a movie that if you're just into a good story, like a good story with like rich people getting their comeuppance, it is this. And how like rich people are very frivolous with their money, right? Like how they just throw it away, how they don't care about what you and I would be like, damn, like that's like 3 months of saving up to get that. You know what I'm saying? They just bet it on a hand.
What does
right?
saving
They
up
don't
mean?
care. Pardon me, sir. Could you go into this a bit more? But for me, it's gonna be a pop 2. I think Molly's Game is a fantastic movie. Probably should have shaved it. Probably should have saved it for a drunk classic since neither one of you have seen it. But now that we've
I'm gonna
reviewed
watch
it,
it.
if the two of you feel the urge to go off and see it, I think it's fantastic. And I think that Michael Cera playing that role of Player X was fantastic.
Yeah.
Josh, next
Yeah.
film.
Oh, what do we want to hear about? Let's still go into some more animation. Scott Pilgrim takes off. So, for folks that don't know, Scott Pilgrim was a manga, but it's an American style. So it was just a comic book. That's the difference there. See, Fry, like the mangas are just Japan, but it's a Canadian guy who made a story heavily influenced by anime, as well as many other things like great music and American comics and pop culture in general, video games especially. They made a movie about it eventually. Incredible movie, slept on, cult following, Popcorn and 3 movie. They made a cartoon based on the whole story put
Michael
together.
Cera again, oddly enough.
The whole cast came back. The hell was that? The whole cast came back. Everyone's back in this movie. From the show, from the movie. Netflix, I've talked about it before, so I'm not going to go too much further. It's great. The animation, the action scenes are top-notch. Like, really good, dude. There is some melodrama, but it comments in the melodrama. It's all about the dumb, immature teen, not teen, but like young adult stuff, like 20s, learning how to grow up, learning how to blame, or not blame, but like accept stuff, blah, blah, blah. It's good. Popcorn and 2. Everyone should watch it. They did a great job of making a story, retelling it from a different perspective, and making you want to see it again.
So it's digestible, like it's easy to watch.
I would say you'd love it.
All right, so I think you've said that to me multiple times, so I got to get on that. Just like I got on what Jordan was pressing me to watch, Midnight Mass, because I liked House on the Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor, and then I really liked the last one that I just reviewed, Fall of Usher House. Yeah, it was good. It was fun. I give this one a pop 1. It was an interesting take on vampires, like Jordan said. Not to go too deep, it's the same cast. The cast does a really good job. It is. I wish I got more vampire, and by vampire I mean like the original, like the main vampire that he finds in Jerusalem, because I thought that was a fascinating take on where you might find a Dracula type, right? Because it's the Holy Land. And if there was going to be an evil spirit that sucks the blood of humans to give them everlasting life to spread their story, you know what? Why not it be there as opposed to Vlad the Impaler, right? Which is heavily implicated as Dracula in most stories.
Right.
If I got more of him, it might be higher, because I thought that the way they did that character was pretty cool, pretty interesting. His makeup was cool. He was almost like a Slender Man type build. And the one time we get him, he's in a suit. I wanted to find out more about how did you get this suit, bro? Last time I saw you, you were naked in
bro.
Last time I saw you, you was naked in a temple. Now you got a suit that hides your wings? Like, what is happening? I did not. I think it dropped to a pop 1 for me because of the way he is handled by the town. I didn't like that, as far as like the sun aspect of it, burning down all the houses on an island too far from the mainland. That was cool. But the whole like, seducing the vampire while she slices away at him, whatever. For me, like that was unnecessary. I wanted a little bit more of a fight from the guy, the main character that was the gentleman, the younger man that at the very beginning we find committed a horrible act in getting a DUI and killing somebody. But I love the paramedic's line. You want to talk to God, ask him why it's always the drunk losers that survive, right? Well, the good people die, or well, the kids die. I thought that was a great line from the paramedic. Pop 1. Josh.
Pop 1. My name is Josh. I watched a show called Marcel the Shell with shoes on, not the viral YouTube videos from like 10 years ago, but it's the same everything. So it's, what's her name?
Jenny Slate.
Jenny Slate voices this character, very high-pitched little seashell with an eyeball and 2 little tiny shoes that walks around. And the original gimmick was just like talking funny and saying, you know what I use for a bed? a crouton, you know, like just talking about being cute, just a cute little shell, stupid little thing. But then they made a movie about it. A24 Studios made a movie about it.
Okay.
And it was surprisingly like a beautiful film. Like it started off just cutesy cute, but it stuff builds. There's actual building in this somehow. But the idea is an amateur documentarian discovers this shell and starts following it around the house and just going through the shell's life. And the shell's life is like pretty serious, and like it delves deeply into loneliness, dependent relationships, feeling helpless, being optimistic despite it. Like she takes care of her nana, who's another shell, and they have to do everything that they have to eat food. So like they talk about like it. Anyway, this is the worst review ever. I really do suggest it.
They have to eat food?
No, like so like their method of getting food is crazy. So like there's a string from the blender to the tree outside. They turn it on, the blender pulls the tree branch so the fruits fall. So then now they can go get the fruit. You know, it's like cute stuff like that. But really quiet, still, like a very tranquil movie with just a super happy, smiley ending. But it gets pretty deep and like really real. And it's amazing they made this happen with a little shell, stop motion with shoes on. So incredible job by Jenny Slate. I give this movie a popcorn of 1, no doubt. Like
popcorn and 1, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they should have put no doubt in the soundtrack just because you said that.
I'm just a shell.
I did, for my final review, I watched all 8 episodes of Kong Skull Island because I'm working a lot and I like to have like a palate cleanser on in the background while I'm working. And I liked Kong Skull Island. I thought it was good. It was fun. It's going to get a popcorn and 1 from me. It is done in this anime style that I was asking Josh about earlier that I think is like considered American anime, but I don't want to be wrong because I think King Kong is a Japanese story, right? It is, right? Like just like Godzilla.
Are you sure?
I'm not. I'm asking.
Oh no, I don't know about King Kong.
I think King Kong is an American story. Yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah.
All right, so it's an American story then. Cool, you guys win. But
doesn't matter. The line's getting grayer and grayer.
It would have been funny if you're like, "We're not keeping score," as you turned around and put like a Roman numeral up. But it was fun. I mean, it was an interesting take, and this one is Kong versus a sea monster, basically, eventually. But you get stories in between, and you get people that are, stowaways on a ship, and you get people that are what's the word? I'm shipwrecked on Skull Island, and it's just like a lot of storylines going on at once. But you see some desperation in there about making money to continue scientific exploration, which leads to a mistake of trying to find Skull Island for, a mysterious benefactor that's funding the whole thing. But then you find out that the feral person that they find is their child. There's a dog in it, and I'm not happy with the cliffhanger because I don't know if the dog survived or died.
Better not kill dogs.
We do not abide by on this show.
We don't abide it.
I'm not sure that's the cliffhanger, is whether or not that's the one thing I would qualm with, I guess, is Kong saves them from a tidal wave that Kong creates to kill the sea monster, right? Saves them, and then rips sea monster, spoiler alert, and then throws sea monster, creating another tidal wave which pulls them back out to sea. And now I don't know what happened. So that bothers me. And I was hoping for some closure, but I get, again, just like Vince Staples, they're going for a season 2. It was cool to see a different take that's animated on Skull Island. I think we could do a lot more things with animation than we could do with live action. Yeah. So it was fun to see it in that sense. It was fun to see them tell the story of Skull Island, which I think is what they were trying to do through the lens of these characters that made their way to Skull Island. But overall, it's a popcorn and 1. Josh, give us the end of your reviews. What was last?
Well, I just got 2 more, and the first one I'm going to go with quick. Taylor Tomlinson stand-up, Have It All, I believe it's called, came out recently. It's her 4th Netflix special Before that, she was on the stand-ups, I believe. She was on the Comedy Central thing once in a while, I believe. Definitely, I remember her a lot from all the times she was on Conan's late night show. So I've been a fan of hers for quite a while. I love Taylor Tomlinson. Obviously, she's real pretty, and she came out when I was in high school, and I was like,
She
oh,
has a late night show too.
She has a show currently.
Yeah, a late night show.
Yeah, it's totally stolen from a concept by Game Changers. They copied Game Changers, but that's okay. I love her style. I love her delivery. I think she's got a good move. This was not a good special. This is really kind of cookie cuttery jokes, like kind of like phoning it in a little bit. She had a few good things. Taco Bell, good for any occasion, was a running joke. Like it was a really good like punchline to a story she would tell, and it that fit. And what else did she say? Oh,
Coming
one of my
down
favorite
the stairs at the very beginning, the intro to it. I didn't really like that. Like throwing the whole crew under the bus. I was like, oh, that one was bad. And she turns it into a joke, but I was like, yeah, like it's a joke to you, but you like totally just threw this whole crew under the bus. So anyone that watches the credits now is like,
yeah, now she made herself out to be the good guy for not frivolously changing your mind. Anyway, yeah, nice try. I like this. My favorite joke she said was something like, asking an introvert to have people over is like asking for anal. Watch our face change. And then she says, quote, oh, I'm sorry, is it your birthday? So that was a good joke. So she had a lot of jokes though that were kind of there. Anyone could have told those jokes. She maybe she had a writer help, a team of writers. That's not unheard of these days or ever. So I give the whole thing a popcorn. I'm still a fan, but she missed it that time. Okay, let's do Brawl on Cell Block 99. That was a movie I watched before. I just finished it up. It's Vince Vaughn in a really Redbox style level of movie, but it was a
Redbox exclusive. To be honest,
it probably was a Redbox exclusive. Low budget, weird concepts. It was okay though. It was Vince Vaughn did great. He played a psychopath with like a samurai code of ethics. It's very brutal though, and anyway, the whole movie's about him going to prison and then continually going to more maxer security prison for different reasons, and then just really the way he interacts with people and incites a brawl and beats the hell out of everyone. That's basically what you're there to see. That's what the title is. That's what the movie is. So there's those cool parts where he gets to be his own version of a badass, which is unique. So I like that. But it's still a popcorn movie. It's not bad, though. But popcorn and 3 over here coming in last is Warrior, dude. Not the Netflix show, which I guess used to be a Max show, which I guess used to be HBO, though. This is the movie with Tom Hardy and Conan O'Brien. I mean, Joel Edgerton. They look the same. Who cares?
Conan O'Brien was a cage fighter.
Yeah. Everyone needs to see this movie. This is one of the best sports movies, one of the best fighting movies I've ever seen, and that's a shot.
Yeah.
But
I'm not bothered.
It's incredible. It's a wonderful story about bitterness. It's about family. It's about regret. It's about loss, making up for it, pride, alcoholism, codependent relationships, toxicity of grief. And it's a beautiful film that does a little bit of loosey-goosey things about MMA in order to tell a story, such as, that would never be allowed to happen. But anyway,
classes don't exist, all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it did though. It reminded me of the old UFC days when you had to fight 8 times before you left the house. Like, this is a tournament. Like, you got to keep going. But they stopped doing that because
and there were no weight classes.
No, it was just like you want to fight, okay. So
you're a sumo guy.
But after 8 fights, like, you're not gonna have a good fight. The championship fight's not gonna be good. Anyway, that's not the point. We're playing loosey goosey for theatrics, right? Just like a lot of fighting movies do.
Yeah. Rocky was anyway. You're good. You're good.
But I think it's still healthy the way they approached it. They showed different types of training and the importance of stuff and practice and trainer relationships. I liked the fights, and Tom Hardy. Nick Nolte was a great role in that movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tom Hardy turned into an animal, and it was really incredible to see. Like, I was shocked every time I watched him fight, but also some of his performance parts. Just like, oh, I'm scared of that dude. Like he nailed that.
Camera work was great too. The camera work, they did a great job of getting right in there to show you like raw emotion mid fight, to have you feeling things like when he's hitting the ribs on that guy, just going to town, and you're watching it and you're like, okay.
That's a good point. I never would have thought about that, because that reminds me of the opposite. Back in like the early 90s, late 2000s, they were doing a lot of this for fight scenes to make it more realistic. Didn't work out. This great camera work, you're right. And lastly, I don't know if anyone's caught this. If you see it, just think about why the father is listening to Moby Dick, and think about like his last part where he has the big scene with Tom Hardy in the bed. Not that kind of scene. This all this like screaming, like, stop the ship. You can't go. You're not going to make it back. Like wonderful. And then Tom Hardy's scene with his father at the slot machine. This is a popcorn and 3 movie. Like great film.
Yeah, I'm bitter that you got this one. It's definitely a stolen drunk classic for me.
That's MMA, move, bro. If the audience hasn't caught on, he loves good movies. Like, he does like really good movies, and he will steal your drunk classic.
Yeah, he or the MMA hasn't been done well in like notable MMA movies. Like, what's the ones of note? Yeah, Never Back Down, which, to be honest with you, I've seen a few times. Like, I don't hate that movie. It is a bad movie.
You just got served.
It is a bad movie, but it's You Got Served fighting. And what's the other one? Here Comes the Boom with Kevin James. I think that's like the 2 notable MMA movies, and this is the only one that even remotely. I mean, this is a fantastic movie, but this is the only one that's even like really watchable and respectable. So it's a great movie. I agree. Popcorn and 3 all the way on that one.
There is a great show. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It runs 3 seasons. It was on DirecTV's TV channel before DirecTV went under and combined with AT&T. And it's on. I think it's on Netflix. I think you can watch it on Netflix. It's called Kingdom, with Nick Jonas, Frank Grillo. It is great.
Grillo? I don't know about that.
Yeah, it is a fantastic show. And if you guys liked Warrior, I would highly recommend watching Kingdom. It was very, very good.
Warrior.
Now, drunk classic time, and I've been waffling. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've been on the fence with like 3 or 4 different films, and I know where I'm at with this. I know it's time for a comedy for me, and I just like 3 or 4 just going through my head. Which one? And I settled on one that came into the picture late. So it's gonna be Life with Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And that's what we're gonna go. That's what we're gonna do. Yes,
that's a great film.
I love that movie. Yeah.
It's really good. I really enjoy it, and I like that it spans decades in one film. So, Life will be our drunk classic.
You gonna eat your cornbread?
Yo, I've been quoting that ever since I saw that film. Like,
yes, sir. Just saying, I'm gonna get tattooed, bro. Like, they didn't get my cornbread, dog.
Yep.
They didn't get it. They didn't get my cornbread, dude.
That one, and the other quote I do a lot from there is "jangalang, jangalang." Not just walk around, I just be like "jangalang, jangalang."
That when you're walking through the grocery store.
But I look forward to it getting stuck in your guys' head after this week.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best to be up in time to film this week for you guys, but we do have a drunk classic that we need, or not a drunk classic, pardon me, a butter on top that will be Dune 2.
Dune 2.
Chalamet is Dune, brother.
Dune 2. All
Chalamet
right,
is Dune, dude.
As an action hero.
Yeah, get that knife out, kid. It's gonna be
hard
great.
to look scrawny in armor, but he still does.
Yeah.
All right. As always, we thank you for joining us. Jordan, where can they reach us?
On the X at Popcorn and Beer.
Right on. So we will see you next week. You get the popcorn. We got the beer.